All right, welcome into episode 45 of the Avetts And Beyond. My name is Todd Emanuele, and another appearance for this guest who was a lot of fun the first time we had him on. Ryan Boyles is back with us for this episode. Ryan, welcome back.
Hey Todd, thanks for having me back.
Yeah, this was now you reached out to me. You're like, I got an idea for an episode. I'm like, you know what? Let's just roll with it. So I
Yeah,
we were just saying off the air, like I always have like pages and pages of notes that I prepare, questions and all that. And I
yeah.
have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 words written down on a piece of paper here. And we're just
Yep.
gonna roll with your idea and see what happens here for the next 40 minutes. So thanks for coming
No
on. Uh,
worries. No worries. I'm
what,
glad to
what
be here. I'm glad to be here.
what
So I'm good at making up stuff. So that's what I want to say first and foremost.
making up? So the stories you told last time weren't true?
No, 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 no. Actually, I did remember some things that after we went off the air that I probably should have included, but I don't know.
I do want to
You know,
talk about something from the last time. You were at that
yeah,
McKittrick Hotel show,
that's
and
right.
I didn't realize this. Like we talked about that show, it's an hour long or 55-minute video on YouTube and all that. I did not realize I discovered a video after. Well, I didn't discover it, I found it. Um, that the show was actually quite a bit longer than that. And there was a
Yeah.
lot of songs that I know you showed me the set list from that show. And there was a lot of stuff on there. I'm like, man, that's too bad they didn't play that. But they played it. They played all
Yeah,
of
yeah.
that stuff. I never knew all that was there. And there's a recording out there of the entire show. So
Yeah.
that was
Well,
cool.
it is a bit of a mystery. So first of all, it was a secret show just to bring everybody up to speed that we
Right.
got. My wife and I, the short version is we thought we won a contest. We didn't know if it was legit. We had to jump in a car with 24 hours notice and go from North Carolina to New York City. And lo and behold, we were invited to what they were calling the secret show. We didn't know what was happening. Um, but long story short, it was the PBS filming to make, I think the series on PBS is called Front Stage. Don't hold me to it. I think
Yeah, I
that's what
can't
it's called.
remember. I know what
But
you're talking about though.
it was being recorded. It was very much like a MTV Unplugged kind of situation with small room, small stage, a bunch of people, and cafe tables and booths and things. So really cool vibe. But then we discovered it was being recorded and it got edited into this program that had to fit sort of the 45-minute sort of format that you do on TV. But yeah, the show was longer than that. It was really magical experience for us. But your question about the recording. So
Yeah.
after we went bonkers when we got home. We were just like pinching ourselves, saying what happened. And then I think I told you this in the last episode, but that Rolling Stone reporter had like somehow found me through Tumblr or something and asked me to provide him the set list that he could put in his article, and it was really surreal. And then the show, though, they record the show and it wasn't going to come out for like 6 months or something, so everybody was
Wow.
going nuts trying to like understand how you were going to watch it on your local affiliate.
Yeah.
Most people didn't even know how to tune into PBS on your, do you got to like dig the rabbit ears out of your attic or something, or how do you even make that happen in this day and age when we're streaming everything or cut the cord? So anyway,
Well, they stream PBS now anyway.
you're right, they do, and
Now,
we were
I don't know
trying.
about that back then. They probably didn't.
Well, they were back then, but it was some kind of like subscription thing. We couldn't figure
Oh,
it out here in North Carolina, so we were just hoping that we could like, just like in the olden days when you had your dial on your TV and you
sure,
had to
sure.
kind of like tune in at the time, like it was going to come out in December and we had to like tune in. But this other weird thing happened. So this guy reaches out to me through Twitter in a direct message, and we happened to be connected. We're not like friends or anything, but we're just like acquaintances
Yeah.
because I was at that time and before I had been really involved with organizing what we called tweet ups back in the day, which was nothing more than a meetup of
Sure.
Twitter
Yep.
users back when Twitter was like, you know, 10 years ago, 12 years ago was like the new hotness.
When it
Anyhow,
was actually good.
when it was good and cool. And I didn't want to say that out loud, but yes. And
Sorry.
then, long story short, this guy like drops me a link and says, "Hey man, you might want to watch this." And it was apparently, I think he was one of the producers or one of the cameramen of the special, and he dropped me like this unlisted link, or it might have been public. I'm not sure. He dropped me this link, and it was literally the whole broadcast, and it even had the time, like how it has like the time codes running.
Yeah.
So it was like the pre-production,
Like
long,
pre-production,
the whole episode, right?
It's just the raw, uncut footage,
right,
basically.
right. And so it was up on YouTube for a really long time, and my wife and I would turn it on, on a Sunday or during a cookout and just watch it and enjoy it again.
And be like, I can't believe I was there. You had to say that like 10
yeah. Oh,
times
of course. And then like we were trying to like find an angle where you could see like a sliver of my forehead, like off in the corner, like we were there or something. But anyway, for whatever reason, that video has disappeared off of YouTube, and I don't know if it was there for so long that I don't know why. And this individual, which I shared you the link of his channel, he has so many other YouTube performances that are kind of from way back in the day, early days, 2004 to like 2009 to 2012. And this happened in 2013. So anyhow, but now another version of the recording apparently has appeared on YouTube. And I don't know if it's just some random person that like, scraped it or, ripped it off of YouTube.
Like a couple months ago, it showed up.
Yeah.
It's the first time I'd ever seen it.
So I don't know if that's the same version and they ripped his off and replaced it.
Seems like they added stuff onto the end. They repeat a bunch of stuff at the end. So it's
okay.
It's like 3 hours.
I'm not mad about it because I'd be really depressed if we lost that recording. That's the thing about all these online services is you don't know how long they're going to stick around or who's doing it.
Can you download it like to you must be able to download it to something.
There are ways to rip stuff off of YouTube and save them onto your hard drive. But anyhow, I think so. Our friend Tim Mossberger, he commented in one of our groups talking about this as well. So I'm not sure about the full story. I was there and I was just like, like I said, we were in awe. I got a surprise for you right now, though. I don't know if you can see this, but I have a couple of picks on my hand here.
Yeah.
On my middle and forefinger. So this is the unscripted show. You told me this. So what I'm going to do.
Oh, wait a minute.
For one night only.
Oh, no.
There's going to be a performance.
Are you?
I have a banjo.
Oh, man. Let's go.
So, this is the first appearance online. I'm not even sure if you're going to be able to make this out on the audio, but I'll hold it up. But I'm not good. Let's just be real. This is a really, really nice banjo. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. If you're listening, I don't know.
Is it a deering?
So here's the thing. It is not a deering. It's so the head says Remo, but I think that's just the head.
Okay.
It is a Mitchell.
Oh, okay. I thought you had a
really good. I don't know. It's just pretty. I mean,
it is nice. It's real nice.
It's been a prop in my house for like 15, 20 years before I even knew the Avett Brothers.
Have you ever played it before?
So here's the thing. I don't know if some of you out in Avett land probably know Max Parker.
Sure.
He's a musician, boat person by day, musician by night, and he actually plays quite a bit.
Description. I like that.
Great guy. He started teaching me some basic chords, which I don't even remember because that was 3 months ago, but I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying.
So
I will make
debut.
I will make this promise to you. I wasn't prepared tonight. I'm just filling air, but the next time, if you'll have me on again, I'll bring you a tune because Max told me that there were several chords that you could sort of, if you only knew, I don't know, 2 chords and a couple of notes, you could strum out some things like When I Drink or some other classics. So it's my goal to try to do that by New Year's. I don't know if you're coming down to Raleigh or not, or any of the people listening, but
not me, but I wish I was.
Maybe there'll be something. We'll see.
So you're not going to play something right now for us?
I don't know how to play something. I think I built this up, and now I feel embarrassed that
you got excited that you were going to play.
I promised something, so we got to quickly pivot to some other subject, which I do have a couple other things I wanted
Yeah.
I have a couple of things I wanted to toss out at you here. So
Go for it.
when was your last Avett show? Let me ask you that.
Last one was in Lafayette at Beacon Skiff back in May.
Okay. Oh yeah, I heard that was a good one.
Yeah, it was great.
So this is what I wanted to bring up. There's been so much chatter within groups, and I think the Avett Brothers have spoke on a couple of podcasts this year, and last year as well, about working on the new album.
Sure.
And so the question I wanted to bring up was purely not sort of like trying to guess what they're going to do or any of that. I wanted to just like maybe riff on what do you think, what are ideas for what they could do? And so the reason I want to ask this question, I want to set it up, is my wife and I went out to Vegas to go to the Sphere and saw U2 perform there in October. And so it's been about a month since we did that. It reunited me and my wife with our love, or the love of just that band. When we first started dating 25 plus years ago, U2 was one of the, the Cure, U2, the Smiths, all of our music at the time before we knew about the Avett Brothers. So it reunited like this, they say when you're like 18 or something, right, that your brain gets imprinted with like the music of your life.
Sure.
I feel like U2 is one of those bands for me. So it made me think about how U2 reinvented themselves, and the tour that they're doing now is based on Achtung Baby, which was really when they sort of pivoted. They pivoted away from everything that they were known for with Joshua Tree and with Rattle and Hum, and even the earlier stuff that a lot of people probably fell in love with. And they went in this different direction that was completely just like probably made some people walk away. So I'm wondering though,
a lot of bands, right?
It does, but they reinvented themselves. Here's my question I'm trying to get to that I'm
give it more of
being long-winded about. There was all of the stuff that the Avett Brothers kind of experimented with Rick Rubin in the last album, in the last couple of albums. And my thing is, everybody, there's all the chatter about have they changed, or have they done this, or have they done that? I think music is, and being a musician is always an evolution. That's the great ones. That's my observation, right?
Definitely.
And with U2, I think they, with Achtung Baby, and then going into Zooropa, and then Vertigo, all the How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb, all those albums now, it brought in a new generation of fans. But I went along with them and I enjoyed it, and I love that music just as much as Boy and War and Unforgettable Fire, right? And so I'm saying, I think the Avetts could like completely reinvent themselves, because they've been undefinable. They're not in a genre anyway. Like, we call it Americana, and Seth, very humbly said that he was proud to be called that when they were, on the stage at the Americana Music Awards a few months ago. But my point is, like, they started out as Nemo and some other bands, and they thought they were going to be like, heavy metal. I would love to see what they could do if they pushed themselves even further. I don't know. What do you think?
What do you think?
I don't know. So again,
I can tell you what I think they're going to do, but I want to hear your.
It's not even what I think they're going to do. I'm saying, like, I posed the question, rejects of, the Sphere. Going back to the Sphere for a moment, the social media team for the Sphere put out a question on their channel and said, who do you want to see there next?
Yeah.
And I think that's a great question of, like, what artists can draw a crowd. Well, I think that's the wrong question, though. Not about drawing a crowd, because we know who can draw a crowd. Taylor Swift can draw a crowd.
Right.
There's a short list probably but I will say this. What could Scott or Seth or both of them together, or the whole band, do together with a canvas that big? Like Scott talks about, he's an artist first.
How cool would it be if they played there?
I think it'd be unimaginably awesome, right? I think it's hard to even imagine what to do with it, because I think, as awesome as the U2 show was, they barely scratch the surface of what's possible with that technology and that kind of
That's what I've heard.
that
Like they could
venue.
do so much more with this sphere.
And I'm not putting down what U2 did. What they did was awesome. I just think different creative juices lead to yes and yes and yes and it builds into different things and different interpretations.
That'll evolve too. I mean,
Yeah.
they're the first. I mean, weren't they the first band to play there? And
Yes, they're the only band. So it's really like they're the first to break ground and what's going to happen.
It's going to get bigger and better, I would think. I hope.
And so even if my point is this, it inspired seeing them there and them revisiting the music from Achtung Baby.
Mm-hmm.
Like Bono is very sort of like reflective about some of the songs. He talked about them. He talked about So Cruel being like the way he sings it and the way the lyrics are read. It's like he's accusing the woman of being cruel. And he said in retrospect, he now knows that he was the cruel one.
Yeah.
Probably in the relationship that sort of inspired that songwriting. And it made me think like examine how the Avetts are so much about writing their diary with their lyrics and bleeding heart and talking about relationships, talking about life, talking about ups and downs, and where could they go with this? Because I think, and then forget about the Sphere for a minute. I'm just talking about this album.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
it could be something just totally crazy different, and that would be cool. I would be okay with that.
I would too. I don't know that it's going to be though. I'm
Sure.
thinking I'm getting a feeling from things that I've heard. Like when I had Tanya on the show back in March, I think it was March. She had already recorded her parts of the album, whatever, and they had already recorded some of that stuff. And she did that in Nashville. And I think Joe was with her perhaps, and they recorded stuff in Nashville. And
Okay.
I haven't seen anything about them being out in Malibu, which tells me
Well,
that
yeah.
they're doing this album in North Carolina on their own, perhaps. So I'm
Okay.
getting a vibe that it's going to be old school Avett Brothers, which that kind of excites me too.
Well, and that's not a bad. That's
No.
actually new and different too. So
Full band, but old school at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not going to be that
Oh, sure,
Rick Rubin sound.
Well, I mean, that takes, like, you remember the story I told you the first time I was on here about the friend that introduced me to the band. Like he loved that genre and
Sure,
thought that emotionalism was, a bridge too far or something. And so, getting introspective and going back to your roots is not a bad thing either. That's a deep well.
I have a really strong feeling that we're gonna get some stripped down, full band stripped down Avett stuff, and it's gonna be incredible. I can't wait. I have no idea when it's coming out. It's been really hush hush.
Yeah.
Obviously, it'll be into 2024, but
Yeah.
Man, I can't wait to hear even just the first song or something, just to see what we're heading into, because it's exciting, I think.
Well, I think they've made a practice with this last tour of not playing
anything
new music.
Right.
They used to have a pattern of sort of trying out songs, right, and seeing what sticks, or seeing what they enjoy playing, or that whole process. And I think
I have not seen that since I've started listening to the band. It's been several years since they've done
okay. Well,
right?
It has. And so I think that is something I definitely miss, because that was part of the magic, was not just learning the songs or hearing your favorites or what have you. It was something of maybe hearing something that, wow, is still being formed, or what have you. And I think I don't think that will happen at New Year's either. I think New Year's is very much a crowd pleaser kind of show.
It'll be the same type of show that everyone's been getting for the last 2 years or whatever. It'll be great because they haven't played in a while. And I'm never going to complain about what they play at a show, because if I'm there in the moment, I'll listen to them play whatever they want to play, because I'm just happy to be there. I've said that before too. But
seeing Seth or hearing Seth, sing the phone book.
Yeah. I'm,
is good. And
yeah,
then seeing the energy that Scott brings into a New Year's show is usually like a different level.
and they're gonna be well rested.
Yep.
It's gonna be great. Uh,
And it's a homecoming of sorts, so it's a jovial mood.
you don't have to travel far to go there either, so that's always nice, right?
No, no. It is close, and that makes it fun for us. I wonder though.
Yeah.
I don't want to let this go. I want to get so. I still wonder, like, when I listen to Octoon Baby, and some of the most classic U2 songs now are
Hmm.
from that album.
Sure.
I still think, I mean, the Avetts, that's what they can do. I mean, they're the best songwriters out there.
Hmm.
Um, and I really think that is what I'm looking forward to, is sort of what are those stories they're going to tell in this chapter of their lives, you know?
I'm there for it, whatever it is, and I'm again not one to complain. So whatever they put out, I'm gonna love. But I'm really excited about this one because it's been so. I don't want to say hush hush because they're just not talking about it other than throwing hints out here and there that they're actually
Sure.
working on it. But I
And
mean,
that's okay.
I've heard some things
I
that
I
I
like
don't talk
surprises too.
about too, but I'm excited for it.
So let me ask you,
Yeah.
if you go to your next show
Okay.
past New Year's, um,
Hopefully there are
what
some, right?
what songs are you thinking of you want to hear? Because I'm looking at your hat with your patch.
Yep.
I want to hear "It's Raining Today."
Yep. That's my hat says it's raining.
I honestly, I love so many of the Scott songs from that album, and I feel like they haven't really got their airtime yet.
Yeah, I have It's Raining Today and When You Learn. When You Learn is my number one that I
Yep.
want to hear him play because my God, I love that song. And
Yeah.
they've never played it live.
Yep.
And they need to play some of those songs off of that album. That album gets so much crap from people. I
Yeah.
hear people complain about it all the time. I love it. There's so many great
Yeah. Yeah.
songs
Yeah.
on it. And When You Learn, it needs to be somehow in the rotation. And It's Raining Today too. I
I
love.
will tell you. I will tell you. I had a similar experience between like I so going back to U2, Actune Baby was the last album that I like went to a record store and like waited in line for for like when the physical thing like came out.
That was the last time.
Yeah, I was in high school.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. For a record, yeah, certainly. Or I mean it was a CD, but
Right.
anyhow, I pop it in my car, I listen to it and I'm like, "What the hell is this?" It was so different. But then it becomes an earworm. It become like so I think
Yeah.
that this album has had the same effect on me. You were sort of like you didn't at first you're like, "Oh, wow, okay, this is
This is
different." But
different.
then
Right.
almost every song on that album in its own way kind of works its way
I,
into your subconscious, and like I love it a lot.
I absolutely love it. And it was like slow at first to get to love the songs, but the more you listen to them, I always go back to, the you listen to the lyrics, their lyrics, it means something to them. So it should mean something to me too. So I listen closely to what they're singing about, and it's important stuff that they're talking about in their life. So why wouldn't fans of the band like that instead of complaining and saying, "Oh, they're too political" or whatever? Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't like all that stuff, but yeah,
Well,
that album.
I agree with that sentiment. I think it also speaks to the mind of, you know, them at the current stage of life, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Um, they're never going to be fake, and that's something to be appreciated.
Now, do you think any of the songs songs that have never made it on albums before could possibly pop up on this album?
Hmm, that's a good question.
Think of From May It Last when you hear that Seth and his wife or girlfriend at the time were having a baby, and he and Paul DeFiglia are playing uh This Connection.
Yep.
That song's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Uh
Well, I'll tell you what. Another one like Trouble Letting Go.
yeah,
I I love that song. I play it on
That could
repeat.
be why they could still put that on an album.
I'll listen to it 3 times back to back before I'm done with it. Like I would love to have that on an album.
Isn't Neapolitan Sky? That's not on an album either, is it? Or am I wrong?
Right. So there was a show in this past tour. I'm blanking now and I'm not prepared, but you're sparking that there was a show this past tour where they played like all of those
Right. No, I remember that.
songs in a lineup. Do you
Yep.
remember what show that was?
I don't remember which show, but I remember that. My memory's awful, but I do remember there was a show where once the show was done, people were like, "Oh my God, they played all the songs except for one,
Yep.
I think, that were never on an album." And
And
that's
I
cool.
love that. I love when shows kind of have an interesting twist like that. And I think that was on a multi-night run probably.
Oh, I wonder, was it Wolf Trap?
I don't know. I didn't go to Wolf Trap this year, so I don't know. I don't think so because I feel like I was at the show. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah, where's Tim Mossberger when you need him?
I know, right? We need the Avett Encyclopedia,
Yeah, yeah. Let's just
Avett
give a quick call
Archivist.
here. He's probably awake. It's only 9:30 where he is right now. Anyway, yeah, and they're not gonna obviously put more than one of those songs on an album, I would assume, because they're constantly writing new stuff. But I would love to see this. This connection is one that always stands out to me.
Well,
That
that would be. I
that would
mean,
be a great song to
shoot,
have on an album.
that's a. If you're gonna have a greatest hits, put all those singles on it. I would buy it.
That'd be cool, right? Well, maybe they
Um,
will do that
and
someday. Just like an
listening
EP.
to that stuff, I'll tell you, I've also rediscovered vinyl recently.
Yeah,
So listening to Closer Than Together and the Gleam 3 on vinyl is a whole nother experience as well.
I agree. I have the third Gleam. I think I have on every platform that it's out on. Well, it's only on two, I guess. Three: digital, CD, and record. But what was it? Emotionalism was on cassette too. I have that on cassette.
Oh, I got one of those.
I've never
I
never
still
played it.
have,
I don't have a
so I
cassette
haven't,
player.
well, you can't see it, it's off camera, but I have one of those Panasonic boom boxes with the single
Nice.
cassette and the
Yeah.
dial from my high school days.
Yeah.
You know what? I've had that on my shelf. I mean, I graduated high school in 92. That is what I took. That boombox is what I took to the Charlotte Motor Speedway when they did those shows during the pandemic.
Oh, nice.
And because they were broadcasting the show out over and
Oh.
they were broadcasting on an FM frequency. So it was like an old school drive-in
Oh, yeah.
where
That's
like
cool.
you could
Sure.
tune in your car, or, in my case, we put that boombox on top of the truck.
Oh my God,
We rented a U-Haul pickup truck to drive
that's great.
to drive in with our group just so we'd have a place to sit.
That had to be like a
And
flashback to
we
your teenage.
yeah, and then we had this boombox, and it sounds, they don't make them like that anymore.
They don't
They
make
really don't.
anything like they used to, but yeah, everything's disposable now. But
Tell me about it.
that is pretty cool. But we have a cassette player. I don't think it works, so I've never taken the cassette out of the plastic. So maybe it'll be worth something someday.
You know
So
what I don't have anymore that I didn't ever know if I would say this, but I don't really have a CD player anymore.
I
So
didn't up until I found my old portable CD player in my basement, and I had
yeah,
no idea if it would work or not. And the CD player in my car doesn't work anymore. My wife doesn't even have one in her car.
right,
Uh,
right.
and our stereo that we had doesn't work. So it was like I found this thing and it works still. So I can listen to my CDs again. And I hooked it
Nice.
up to my speakers where my record player is, and it sounds really good. So that was pretty cool. A little flashback for me to be able to play my CDs again. But so we have 7 minutes left. This goes
Okay.
so fast. I knew this.
I know, right?
Didn't even prepare anything, and we're just flying through the show here.
I'm good at filling air.
What
Hot
else did
air.
you
There we
have
go.
prepared for tonight besides playing a banjo song that you didn't play for us?
I don't know. So I don't know. I've been getting really introspective. So I've been like, the YouTube thing was very introspective. The banjo actually came from, here's another silly story that I can tell. So my sons are now 23 and 21.
Yeah.
We took them to their first Avett show, I think, when they were like 10 and 12 or 11 and 13. And at the time, they learned their love of music and rock and everything from playing Guitar Hero on the PlayStation 2. So
Sure.
they were into like classic rock, like AC/DC
Awesome.
and
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses and all that stuff. And so, but it inspired them to ask for like real instruments. And so as soon as we like got big into going to Avett shows, 2011, 12, 13 is when we really started. I was like, wait a minute, we could have the Boyles brothers. And so my one son, the oldest son, he got really into guitar. He self-taught himself. He had a LG Special red, beautiful guitar.
Nice.
Took him to an Avett show. And then I got this idea. I found this banjo that I just showed you earlier and did not play for you. I said, well, wait a minute. What you guys should diversify. You should learn to how to play bass and play this banjo and play the keyboard and all the things a good parent forces their student children to do. Right.
Right.
My younger son played the banjo for maybe 2 months. That's why it's pristine.
Right.
It was not for him. He transitioned over to bass.
Did he actually try though? I mean,
he said he wanted to start playing cello in school. So then I was like, wait a minute.
yeah.
I need to ask Joe about this cello thing. So I tweeted Joe back when Twitter was cool and all that. And I said, hey, Joe, like I've got, I sent him a picture of them from like we took them, I think, to the New Year's show in Greensboro, like 2012 or 13. And I just said, hey, Joe, the Boyles boys, they need some tips on cello playing. And yeah, I mean,
did he respond to you?
It didn't. He did, but it was some silly, response. At the time, I had high
Wasn't
hopes.
taking it seriously. That's sad.
I had high hopes, but only one of my sons has stuck with it. The oldest is still a good guitar player, and he produces music on his.
That's cool. Nice.
In record stuff, puts it out on SoundCloud. But it's weird hybrid stuff with like EDM and rap and rock all mixed together. So I don't know what that is either.
It gets his creative juices out. That's
of course.
Nice. My youngest daughter plays cello. We just had a cello concert tonight we went to. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. She's pretty good at it too. We'll see.
It's magical to see that spark.
Yeah, she loves Joe. She loves going to the Avett shows with me. And I think it kind of partially inspired her watching him play on stage. And she's like, I can do that. She started right when we started going to the shows too. So I don't know. I think it has something to do with her drive to play.
Well, that will stick with her forever, whether she wants to do a different kind of music or not. My kids, they totally like, they're too cool for Avetts now, but anytime it comes on, it's like it's like a light bulb. They know all the words, know all the lyrics, know the tunes.
When they're older, that's going to be what they go back to.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, when you're a kid and you listen to music, when you get a little bit older and past the teenage years where you rebel against your parents and all that stuff, you end up back listening to the same stuff you grew up with. So they're going to go back and be fans of that music for the rest of their lives. They will.
Yeah. So my evil plan will pay off one day.
Right.
I guess you're right.
So you got to play a chord for us, at least on the band.
Oh man.
Come on. You got to play
something. I don't know.
That was such a tease earlier.
I know, right?
Just one strum, something.
See, it's I learned that all of Seth's picking that he does at Scott, pun intended.
Yeah.
About it never being in tune.
Yeah.
This is difficult, man. I'm telling you what, in my holding down metal strings.
Yeah.
Boy, I got to prepare better.
Okay. Well, at least we got
I have a newfound respect for Scott and any banjo player that can jump up and down or run down the catwalk or do all the things while playing this, while singing, while whatever,
while simultaneously tuning it constantly. Like he's always tuning it as he's playing and jumping around, playing his kick drum and harmonica, whatever.
I mean, I have never felt so inadequate as trying to learn, these four chords that Max was trying to teach me.
Well, it's like a ukulele too, though. The ukulele, if you can play 3 chords, you can
Yeah.
play like 600 songs because
Oh
they
yeah, yeah.
include
And that's the
those
point. Yeah.
chords.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I was taught with, at least with the ukulele. So it's got to be similar, but the banjo is a different animal, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
All
So
right, so
since I've mentioned Max so much, I just want to give him a shout out. Thank you, Max,
yeah.
for teaching me a little bit and all that you're going to teach me. And his song that he wants to hear, going back to our wish list, is he wants to hear Yard Sale.
Okay. That's an
And so
interesting one.
that's a deep one from the library.
That
Maybe not
is.
everybody would agree with that pick, but
I've
hey,
listened to it several times. The first time I heard it, I'm like, what am I listening to? But
yep.
it grows on you. That's an interesting song. I like that. I
I'm
would
not
love for
saying
them
it's
to
my
pull that
favorite.
one out.
I do love hearing the rare tracks that have like,
Yeah, definitely.
even if it's like them playing them for the first time in 10 years and a newfound like interpretation of it.
Yeah, well, I agree. All right, we got less than a minute left here. It's going to cut us off here any second. Ryan Boyles, thank you for coming on again. That was a lot of
Yeah.
we'll have to have a part 3 because it's just too
Oh
much
yeah.
fun talking with you. We don't even
All
have to
right.
prepare anything. We can just talk and have fun. So I
I
appreciate you.
enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Todd.
All right, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye-bye.